Hi, my name is Barry. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, you're in luck because I am celebrating 1 full year of quilting. I started on this date, November 21st, 2024, and it's been 365 days or 1 year that I've been quilting, and I love it. I'm addicted, I guess. um, I didn't know when I started this last year whether this was going to be my passion or not. I just thought I would throw something on the wall and see if it stuck, and it did. And this was actually, if you know me, you know I don't stick to anything. So I really think I truly found my passion going forward. Um, I didn't know. I don't know why exactly I did this. All I can tell you is I had a spare bedroom that I wasn't using, and I thought, what if I like making YouTube videos, and I said, what if I do some kind of hobby in this room that I can film? It'd be easy. It wouldn't be very, I thought it wouldn't be very expensive. Boy, was I wrong. I told my grandson one time, I said, I'd do a YouTube channel on rubber band collecting if I thought people would watch. But so anyways, I started quilting this on today 1 year ago. I really had never even sewn anything except for a pillow. I made a pillow once, and that was it. That was back in 2021. So I just thought I would document my journey along the way. So I'm gonna insert a little clip of me starting out here. Hello, this is Barry. Welcome to the channel. For those of you that have been here before, you know that I've been an electrician for 40 years before I retired in 2021. And it's taken me 3 years to sort of figure out what I wanted to do the rest of my life. Not saying I have to figure it all out right now, and I haven't. But the problem is for the last 3 years, I basically haven't done too much of any one thing. I did buy a new house. I have been slowly remodeling the house. Some say that I could probably go faster than I have been. But that's an ongoing thing that I'm still doing, and that will follow up into this video. But I was trying to figure out what my true passion in life is. You know, what when you retire, you just don't quit. And if you do quit, you'll do what happened to me. Your health's going to go downhill. I became a type 2 diabetic. I gained like 40 pounds. So nothing good came out of just quitting and sitting in my lazy boy recliner. As you can see, along with my quilting journey, I was on a health journey. And I decided that this channel wasn't going to be necessarily a teaching channel because I was just starting out brand new. I thought it would be more, hopefully, an inspiring channel that just because you retire doesn't mean you have to give up and quit, that you can go out and live your best life ever. And that I was sort of doing some self-talk to myself about that, that uh, I always looked at it like when you retire, they always tell you what to do up to retiring, but no one ever hardly tells you what to do after retiring. And a lot of people, including myself, hit the lazy boy recliner, watched reruns of TV shows, and I gained weight. My diabetes went through the roof, and my health last year was probably the worst that was ever I've ever been in. So I think that quilting, I won't say it saved my life. I'd like to think that it did. It at least got me out of a depression. And so I documented my journey from the very first video all the way through. I started off at my weight was 326.6 pounds. And now my current weight is 260. I've lost almost 70 pounds over the last year. And I hope in the next coming year to keep doing that. So, stick with me on that. I made my first little quilt was a charm pack. I just took a bunch of charms that I bought. I bought a big pack. What are they, like 42 charms in a charm pack, 4-inch squares, and I just sewed them together, and I made a little quilt, put a backing on it, and put a binding on it. That was my first quilt, little mini quilt. My first large quilt you can, like I said, all this is documented. That's what I loved about doing this with you. Was a green and peach quilt I made. 1 year later, I'm actually amazed of how the quality of how that thing's held up, because I sleep with it almost every night except for when I wash it, by the way. But it's held up, and I look at it, and the points are pretty well on point. And my quilting of it was just little E's and big L's, but I like it, and it turned out really great. The next quilt was a scrappy 6 ruler template quilt that I got from Creative Grids. That's probably my favorite quilt. I love the colors that were in it. I love the way that it pieced together. I'd like to make more of those. I'm just afraid that I can't replicate those colors. Maybe I'll do a red one or something, but that's probably my favorite quilt. I did several wall hangings, but the genesis of, I started the Memory Makers Button Club. And the genesis of that is I had a big jar sitting in my garage collecting dust. And I was like, how can I give back to you and be sort of interactive? And one night I just woke up in the middle of the night with the ideal of the Memory Makers Button Club. And right here it is. And our goal next year is to keep on filling it up. And if we fill it up, we'll get another jar and we'll do it again. So I've had fun interacting with you, and when people send buttons, there'll be a link down below in case you want to send me your button. Join our club. But the disclaimer, once you're in, you can't get out. This year I made a fair quilt. I decided that I was going to enter, one of my goals was to make a quilt and put it in the Ohio State Fair. And I thought, I don't plan on winning just because of my experience level, but if they were willing to put it in the show, I was willing to enter it. And they did. There was no judgment, which is good and bad, but no one told me it was terrible. No one told me it was good, but they hung it. And so I checked it off my checkbox. I made a Dresden quilt, which I still need. I made the top. I still need to quilt it. And I'm just finishing up a John Deere quilt. So that was probably about 6 quilts I've made this year. I'm happy with the progress that I did. But I hope that next year that I can double that. So that's what we're going to plan on doing for the upcoming year. I bought a Juki sewing machine. I heard that this was one of the best for piecing. I didn't know how dedicated I was at quilting when I bought this, so I bought the base model, which, by the way, is a great model. But I wanted the speed control in case I wanted to do free motion quilting on the machine or straight stitch applique, like the Dresden. I did all straight stitches on that thing there. And I wish I would have had the speed control. So anyways, bought Juki, upgraded to Juki, bought a long arm. And I'm going to try to do, no, I'm not going to try. I'm going to do a lot of videos on my long arming in the next coming year. So I spent quite a bit of money, but this wasn't all about, I didn't do this channel to try to be a get-rich-quick scheme. I did it, one, to improve my own health and life and wealth, but also hopefully that I could inspire you to live your best life ever. And I think we're getting there. I hope to do it more. But yeah, I spent way too much money this year. But hopefully now that stuff's bought, I don't need to go out and buy very much more stuff. Oh, I bought an embroidery machine this year too. So I digress. Upcoming, what are my goals for the next year? I would like to continue to grow the channel. Right now, as we speak, I think I'm at 12,500 subscribers, and I appreciate every one of you. I do. And I'm getting to know a lot of you when you continually comment. We sort of interact. I have no problems, and I think I'm going to knock on wood. I don't think there's been hardly one comment that I've not responded to, and I enjoy that almost as much as I do quilting, to the interaction with you. And my motto is, if you take the time to leave me a comment, it is my obligation to respond, and I don't have any problem with it. One of these days I'll show you some little shortcuts and tips and tricks that I use to comment. A lot of it involves pushing the speaker button and talking my comments back to you, so I can go through 50 comments pretty fast. Just, I've got the gift of gab, so that's not a problem. But yeah, growing my channel next year. I want to do more content. Like I said, I did about 6 quilts this past year. I'd like to try to double that for next year. I'd like to have some more interactions like with sew-alongs. I talked about that on the last video, so maybe we can do some sew-alongs, do more lives. I'm not a big fan of lives, but I'm hoping that the next button club that I do, I may start doing my button clubs live. That kills 2 birds with 1 stone. 1, I get to do the button club, and 2, we get to interact live. So they may be a little bit longer doing that. I don't know, but I thought the next live is going to be a button club. This year, I live just outside Columbus, Ohio. AQS, I think it's American Quilter Society, is having a quilt show here in Columbus, and I'd like to have maybe a meetup, maybe not an official meetup, but I mean, maybe if you let me know you're coming, I would love to meet you. I do plan on going to several quilt shows this year. Maybe we'll meet up there. I want to go back to Paducah. I'd like to go to Gatlinburg Quilt Show. I would like to go maybe to QuiltCon this coming year. So it's an exciting year. But I just want to recap 1 year of quilting. I'm going strong. I hope you are too. I really appreciate all of you that have followed me through the year, and hopefully that we will get bigger and better, except for weight, into the next year. So thanks for watching. Remember, send a button, join the Memory Maker Button Club. All it takes is a little note saying what your goals are or your favorite memory, and a close button. It can be new, it can be old, it can be something that just reminds you of something. But send it in, and we'll put it in a jar, and you can become a member. And that's it, because like I always say, after health, but before wealth, are memories. So go out and make some memories, and I will see you later. Bye.